Gentlemen, let's quickly talk about the polling unit. You mentioned the fact that you were happy that the INEC chairman had responded to some of the issues raised, and you talk about how INEC is about service delivery. You have heard the redesign of the polling unit, and you seem to be satisfied that something is being done. But then nobody is really sure what it's really going to look like. What is INEC thinking in terms of redesigning the polling units to fight vote buying?
We are trying to reposition our voting cubicles and then the ballot boxes. It is re-engineering of the whole polling unit. It's very important. We were the first body to even raise the alert on this issue of vote buying when we saw it in Edo State. Now, this is a new menace which is coming up because these votes now have value, 3,000, 4,000, that's what they pay for each of these things, and we're not even quiet and silent about it. We tried specifically in Ekiti to prevent this. But then we were outsmarted again.
But it seemed it only got worse because you complained about it. Then you complained about it in Anambra, and it seemed that it only got worse in Ekiti.
Because what they did was to now bend the law without breaking it. They will make sure that they perpetrated this at about 300 meters from the polling booth, which is outside our own legal voting zone. So there are so many designs, but I'm telling you, we are aware of all this too. What we are trying to do now is to re-engineer the polling booth in such a way that it becomes difficult. Details will not be given because, you know, our customers are really preparing with us. As we're talking now, we have just about 20 days to Osun. But we did give a warning in Osun that anybody that is caught this time around, we are not going to be quiet. Whether prosecution or no prosecution, we are going to mention names.
Sorry, are you saying that we're going to see the redesigned polling booths?
We are going to see a redesigned polling booth in Osun. Not redesigned, re-engineered. We are going to reconfigure them in such a way that it's very difficult for you to see what who somebody has voted for.
Alhaji Gabam is laughing. I wonder why he's chuckling to himself. Is it that you don't trust? Because you already said that you were quite happy that something was being done about it.
No,
why are you chuckling then?
He's sounding impressive, but let me say this. What I witnessed in the by-election in Bauchi, I think INEC need to know this, and I'm sure they have the information. There is a particular portion where PVCs are being published for any voter to cross-check whether his information is there. From there, you move to a point of accreditation where the what do you call it, the accreditation machine will accredit you, the card reader, and then from there, there's a particular point where you get your voter's card. Ballot papers, I mean. In between, where you will check your name, where something is being published.
The register, yeah.
There are excess agents of party or particular party, this time around APC, that dominated that space doing nothing. As soon as they are coming in, they will start trying to seduce you or motivate you that if you can vote for our party, we have something for it. And at the point of accreditation, their old agents are also there. So the moment you voted, they will send a signal to those that are stationed somewhere that he voted for us. I think INEC need to know this as information, as a power base to what we saw, what is on ground. Since they are modernizing the system or the processes for the purpose of transparency and sanctity of the process. It's very alarming. I can tell you this is very alarming. I'm not talking about any party now. I'm talking about the system that has been taken to a point of discrediting the entire exercise for people who are desperate. Now, if you do not curtail that, you know you are in for trouble 2019 election. You are conducting an exercise that will be discredited both within and outside the country. Because the unanimous position of both within and outside the country on this by-election and Ekiti election was that it was completely seduced with financial motivations, which have affected the institution of INEC itself. And that's the point I've been making all the time. I'm not now talking about a political party. I'm talking about institutions that have responsibility of providing decent, responsible, credible election nationwide. Any party that have gone through that process, won the election, will be happy that we have gone through a very transparent, protected process. And you see a situation, and I'm sure INEC have those evidence, as I'm saying, that the security agencies, you will see them backing a process where people overnight are being seduced with money. And there's that record.
And you mentioned the APC. Some people will say that, it was almost all the parties. How did you know that the agents were from APC?
I'm specific about it. Now, the buying of the vote is mainly between the APC and the PDP. Other parties have no resources to do that. What they do is to canvass for vote because they have no resources. But perhaps if they have the resources, they will do the same. But in this situation, I'm being very honest about it. And this is what I'm talking about. Those who have the resources, who control the resources, are the APC.
Are you complaining then because, maybe your own party did not have the resources to mobilize?
I'm not talking, I'm telling you as a Nigerian that have gone through this process and I've been part of campaigning for people to go and register and get their PVCs. I've been part of transparency campaign. I believe in this country first before any other personal issues. Now, if you do not fix INEC properly, forget about having free and fair election in this country. Up till today, people are making reference to June 12th. And those who conducted the June 12th election are military people. Now you have a system that operates under a democratically elected government, financed with a lot of budget, yet they cannot sit down and iron out processes that will be transparent, that will be responsible, and so on and so forth. And I don't know when we are prepared as a nation to deal with rigging, because we are still dealing with the ballot paper and ballot boxes. In polling unit, people create chaotic situation to take away the ballot paper or the ballot vote and go and start stuffing somewhere else. That has been ongoing up to tomorrow. And unless they have developed mechanisms to deal with that, the issue of free and fair election will not be there.
We have to go, but in fairness to INEC, Mr. Shebi won't have time to respond. A lot of people, especially the CSOs, tell us that the process has largely improved and it's now moving to...
It has improved.
Seducing
I'm not saying
voter.
it has not improved. I've commended them because the process has improved. But I'm saying if you want to deal with free and fair election, they must develop a system, a technological base that will transmit results as you are voting directly, which means you take away the issue of ballot paper and ballot boxes out.
We'll see how that will happen in the Osun elections, which we'll be monitoring very closely. Mr. Shebi tells us that the re-engineering of the polling booth will be seen in the Osun elections, but they're not going to tell us right now because he says their customers are also listening as well.
They're planning along with us.
So we have to thank you, gentlemen, for coming on Sunrise Daily. Mr. Solomon Shebi is a National Commissioner of Voter Education and Publicity at INEC. And we also had with us Alhaji Shehu Gabam, who is a National Secretary of the Social Democratic Party.